Welcome to the Next Level Facebook Ads Podcast with Phil Graham. We help you master Facebook ads and give you an unfair advantage over your competition. Are you ready? Let's go.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Next Level Facebook Ads Podcast, episode 279. I'm Phil Graham. Today, I'm going to be sharing 8 red flags you need to know in order to spot Facebook ad scammers and fake gurus, because they are everywhere and they are trying to screw you. This is really a different kind of episode. Most of my episodes are focused on strategy and tactics for your success. This topic, though, is just too important to not have an episode on because there's way too many people getting hurt. Whether they're paying money for it or they're getting it for free, it is hurting their businesses. And so I'll be back next week with normal strategy and tactical episodes, but I had to do this episode so I can help people and prevent them from getting taken advantage of. You know, fake gurus and scammers are really like a business disease. And the problem is it hurts really good people. And I'm sure you know, there are so many scammers out there. They watch a video or take some cheap, lame course from somebody that doesn't know what they're doing, and then they claim to be an expert. And then they post on social media all day. And since they're posting all day because they have nothing else to do, they don't really have a business, they start getting a following of people who follow them because they think they're following somebody who knows what they're doing, not realizing that this person is posting all day because they have no business. Then a bunch of people see all these followers following this person and think that this person is an expert. I knew somebody that did that. And I knew somebody that thought that they were following an expert when this person that they were following literally had no clue what they were doing. And so many people go down the path of disaster when it comes to this stuff. And that's just one example of how a fake guru might operate. They do it in many different areas in many different ways, but as an analogy, sometimes they're really good at the packaging, at making something look like it's good. So think of the iPhone packaging, but then you open up this beautiful packaging and you get a pile of crap. That's what these fake gurus and scammers offer you. And in the end, you get screwed. Good people get screwed. I can spot these from a mile away because I've been doing this a long time. But most people who don't really know how to spot it, like, it's not your fault, but that's why I'm here. I want to help keep you from getting taken advantage of, because it's not just about losing money, which you can definitely lose. You can also lose time. You can have damage to your brand, or even worse, it can actually damage your mental health because you might lose hope for your business, thinking you're taking the advice from people that know what they're doing, but they really don't. It's like me taking advice from some, a sewing champion about how to play basketball and then thinking I'll never be able to play basketball. Like, I wouldn't do that. I would find somebody that knows how to play basketball. So no more. I've been doing this for a long time and I'm done seeing people getting taken advantage of. It's one of the reasons I started this podcast over 5.5 years ago. And I continue to do an episode every single week in real time, like every week. I don't batch record these. So I'm very passionate about this. And I want to help you guys today. Now, before we jump into this week's episode, if you do want to get in touch, if you're looking for some one-on-one coaching or you want somebody to run your ads for you, somebody you can trust, just go to my website, philgrahamdigital.com, or you can DM me on Instagram at philgrahamdigital, and let's connect. Okay, I almost never do this, but I've already recorded the episode. I was listening back and I was like, oh my gosh, I forgot to include 2 really common red flags. So I'm just going to insert these in before we go into the main 8 here in editing. So these 2 flags are just as important than the 8 we're going to talk about. Red flag number 1 is anybody that makes any kind of income claims or guarantees. Run the other way. That is not how it works. There are way too many variables. And when people make income claims and guarantees, usually it means they don't know what they're doing and they're desperate for your business. Both of those things are very bad for you. And then number 2, There's a lot of people that talk about templates. Just copy this template that supposedly made them money and you'll automatically make money too. Guess what? It doesn't work that way. It just doesn't. I've had a successful ad campaign in one account, in one ad set that crushed it. And I copied it into another ad set in the same account and it didn't. I had to make changes for it to work. So that is all an illusion. Stay away from people that claim that they have magical templates and you will save yourself a lot of trouble. Okay, let's jump into the main 8. Here we go. Now, jumping right in, there are way more than 8 red flags when it comes to scammers and fake gurus, but I'm going to share 8 of the most common red flags. And here's the cool thing. If they have any of these 8 red flags, they're probably a scammer. There's always a few exceptions here and there, very rarely. But if they have these red flags, most likely they're going to be a scammer. Now, about these scammers, some of them know they're scammers and they actively try and screw you and take advantage of you. So that's one big group. That's like a big majority of these people. And they have bad intentions and they are horrible people. Others are maybe not as nefarious. Maybe they have good intentions, but they're just trying to fake it till they make it, so to speak. Kind of like a fat doctor trying to teach you how to lose weight. That doesn't really help you. In fact, that definitely hurts you. So there's a lot of reasons why they may or may not do this, but regardless, you end up getting hurt when these scammers come into your life and you take advice from them. So you have to be very, very careful. Now, some of these scammers, a lot of them charge money, whether they charge you for training or charge you to run your ads for you. And there's nothing wrong with charging money. Anybody who's great at what they do should charge money and charge a lot of money because you're worth it. The problem is most of these scammers are horrible. They have no idea what they're doing. And that's the problem. But scammers don't always charge money. A lot of times they might offer to do things for free or just put out free content. Think of like a YouTube channel or things like that. And again, nothing wrong with that. It's great for people to put out content when it's good quality content. But again, for most of these people, they have no clue what they're doing. So they're just littering the internet with horrible advice that costs people money. That's what's not good. So make sure you realize somebody doesn't have to charge money to hurt you. You can take in free information that's bad information, and that can hurt you too. So you always have to kind of be aware of that. Some of these people do it for money. Some of them do it for ad revenue. Some of them do it for views and just fake clout. And like I said, some of them are just trying to fake it till they make it. At the end of the day, for any and all of those things, when it's a scammer, it all has the same result. It hurts you in the end, regardless of whether they have good intentions or not. And believe me, most of them don't have good intentions. You get screwed. So with that being said, let's jump into the 8 red flags. And again, let me be clear. There's always a couple exceptions every once in a while, but most of the time there's not going to be. So just realize that. All right. Number 1, first red flag I see common to pretty much most scammers is they like to brag about how much they make. They'll show you screenshots. Ooh, look what I made today. They'll brag about how much they've made, and they'll do it frequently. Here's a rule in life that I learned. And again, there's always a couple of exceptions. Keep that in mind. But for the most part, if somebody's rich, if somebody's making a lot of money, they don't brag about being rich. For me, I've been training for a lot of years in the fight world, and it's the same thing in the fight world. If you're tough, if you know how to fight, you don't sit there walking around with a puffed out chest, with a mean look on your face, acting tough. In my experience, the people that act tough are the opposite. They're acting because they're really not. And the same thing goes when it comes to people that are successful in business or making a lot of money. Usually, if they're bragging about it all the time, having to show screenshots, it's to cover something up. It also could be because they have such a small ego. Like there's a lot of reasons for it, but very rarely are they actually what they're showing. So be very, very leery. And I'm not talking about a case study. It's different if you have a case study where you show how much money you made a client or something like that. Like that's legitimate and that's a great thing to do. But if you're just showing, hey, look how much I made today, not only is that cheesy, but it's a sure red flag in my book for sure. So that's red flag number one. Red flag number two, these scammers, these fake gurus, they focus on themselves and how great they are. If you look at what they produce or what they post, a huge percentage of that is about them. It's one thing if you want to share your life, you know what I'm talking about when you've seen people do it deliberately and in a way to kind of manipulate people. First of all, so much of that is fake. So many people rent things that aren't theirs, or they go into debt to show a certain look on Instagram that they don't really live. So there's a lot of that crap going on. But regardless, whether it's reality or not, the people that focus on themselves and how great they are, and that's like the basis for the content they put out, to me, that is a big red flag. Can you imagine if this podcast every week was just all about me saying how great I am the entire episode and I taught nothing? Like that would be insane. I hate that kind of crap. That's a huge red flag. So be very careful. Red flag number three. This is for people that charge money for what they do. Red flag number three is they charge way too little. That is a big red flag. Think of anybody who's great at what they do, whether it's in business or in sports or anything like that. If you're really amazing at what you do and you specialize and you've crushed it and you've done really well, you are not going to charge a small amount for what you do. LeBron James is not going to play for the Lakers or for anybody else for that matter for a small amount. There's a reason he gets hundreds of millions of dollars because he's really good at what he does. So if I go up and tell the Lakers, hey, I'll play for way less than LeBron, pay me $3 million instead of paying him $50 million, that's a red flag. That probably means I don't know how to play basketball very well. Yet when it comes to business, I see people looking for cheap options for, somebody who might advertise for them. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, there's very few things that are as important in business than advertising your business and getting customers and clients. And you want to farm that out to the cheapest option? Like if you do that, you're just setting yourself up for failure. If they're charging a tiny amount, way under what they should be, they're not going to be very good at what they do. So that's a huge red flag. All right, number 4. This is a big one. This will get you. A lot of scammers will constantly post on social media and Facebook groups, etc. Now, there's nothing wrong with posting on social media or groups, obviously, but I'm talking about constant posts. I remember looking at somebody like asked me to look at this person's stuff. And so I looked and they use Twitter a lot and they were essentially selling a coaching course and group about how to do things and stuff like that. And I remember looking one day at their Twitter feed. They literally had like 40 something posts in one day. And then I looked at the previous day, same thing. And the previous day, they had like 30. It's insane. It's like all they did was sit there and post on Twitter all day, every day. That's crazy. That to me, that's a big red flag. Now, obviously, like I said, there are sometimes exceptions. Sometimes people have somebody else do it for them and stuff like that. But most of the time, there's very few exceptions. Most of the time, people that are sitting on social media all day are doing it because they need customers and clients because they really don't have much to do. And that is a huge red flag. Because if they don't have much to do, they're probably not good at what they do, or else they would have a lot to do, right? So do not equate somebody who posts all day as an expert. That's not true. In fact, when I see somebody that posts all the time, I think the opposite. I think they're not an expert. I truly think the opposite. So you have to make sure that you're just aware of this stuff. Then you can form your own judgments. You don't have to agree with all the red flags that I'm pointing out. Form your own judgments, but based on my experience, it's been very true with what I've seen. Okay, next red flag. 1, 2, 3. I guess that was 3. So now we're on number 4. I talked about this in a previous episode just a tiny bit a few weeks ago. I see a lot of scammers claim to be experts at everything, not just business or not just ads, but also organic and politics. And they're war experts. They're experts on science and medicine and the pandemic. They're experts on investing and NFTs. They have like 50 different companies and opportunities and all these different things. Like they know it all. Sure sign of somebody that doesn't know what they're talking about. And like I said a few weeks ago, it doesn't mean you can't have opinions or share your thoughts on all those subjects. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the people that claim to know it all and be experts on all those topics. That is a huge red flag, my friends. Okay, then next one, number 6, I think. I think I'm losing count. I think we're on number 6. Number 6 is people that cold email or DM you, like they spam you. You did not email them first. You didn't join their email list. They just spammed your email, or you don't know who this person is, and they DM'd you or sent you a Facebook message saying, and a lot of times it's so innocent too. They start with a question. Hey, how you doing? And then they might ask a question, what business are you in? And then, they're taught to go by this script. And the goal is to like get you on a call. Here's the deal. If they're cold emailing you, if they're cold spamming you, DMing you and all that crap, run the other way. They don't know what they're doing. That's like one of the worst ways in the world to get somebody to do business with you. And if they're in advertising, what are they doing cold emailing you anyway? Like that's insane. So huge red flag. Okay, number 7, a lot of these people, most of them, they focus on and point out vanity metrics instead of giving value. And by the way, number 8 is going to be the biggest one. So stay tuned. But back to number 7, vanity metrics. How many likes they have. They build up their likes. They build up their followers. A lot of times they even get fake ones, or they pay people to engage on their posts. None of that stuff matters. I know somebody worth $150 million who wouldn't get 5 likes on a post because he focuses on what's most important. And it's not sitting there on social media all day and posting and getting likes. Those are vanity metrics. It does not matter. Now, if you want to use social for fun and because you like it, that's great. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about people that focus, and especially scammers that focus on vanity metrics because they don't have value to give. Stay away from those kind of people because they're going to cost you time, money, and who knows what else. And then last but not least, number 8, this is also very common. This is one of the most common. They don't actually run a business doing what they teach. Common example, somebody that sells a Facebook ads course. Okay, first of all, 99% of the Facebook ad courses out there are horrible. I mean, horrible. They're probably going to cost you a lot of money, not to mention time. But beyond that, there's so many people that sell a course on running ads, yet they don't actually have a business running ads. You know what their business is? Selling you a course. That's their business. They're selling you a course on how to run ads, yet they don't run ads for others themselves. Run the other way. I teach how to run ads and marketing. And guess what? My business is marketing and running ads for clients, as well as coaching. I also coach people to run ads too. That's my business. I don't have a job or some other side thing. This is not my side hustle. This is my business. This is what I do. So I don't just teach it. I do it. I run ads for clients every day, and I've been doing it for many, many years. So stay away and watch out for those red flags of people that actually don't have a business doing what they actually teach, because most of them are in that boat. So at the end of the day, regardless of if somebody has all of these red flags or even 1 or 2, the fake gurus and the scammers, they really offer no real value. Again, they might have some good packaging. but you know what's inside that package. It's not good, and it's something that'll cost you. So make sure that you're always just aware of this kind of stuff, and hopefully these red flags will help you spot these people so that you don't get taken advantage of and screwed. Like I said, next week I'll be back with more strategy and tactics specific to running ads, but I thought this was kind of like a public service announcement that really needed to be said. So my friends, thank you so much for listening. Episode 279 is in the books. If you do want to get in touch, philgrahamdigital.com is the website, or you can DM me on Instagram at philgrahamdigital, and I will talk to you on the next episode. Peace out.
Thanks for listening to the Next Level Facebook Ads Podcast. Please remember to subscribe and share this with all your friends. For show notes, more tips, and to learn more about Phil, please visit philgrahamdigital.com/podcast.